Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. It is yours, Culture Shock. I know it's been a while, but we'll be back when the season starts. But appreciate you guys for tuning in. I got to give you this breaking news. I think it's a good time to talk about it. Of course, when the season starts again, you'll see me more often. But it's been a little hectic before the season starts, getting everything prepared, mentally focusing as well, because the grind's going to be real. But appreciate you guys for being here this long. But let's go and hop into this video. As you can see from this title, recent Colts news has fans crashing out early. Like, comment, and subscribe, by the way, if you haven't already. Appreciate the support. But Anthony Richardson aggravated the same shoulder that he had repaired in the offseason and the shoulder that gave him issues at the beginning of his career. So it got re-aggravated, and now he is sidelined until pretty much training camp. And there's no timetable when he'll return. The news dropped that he might return around training camp, between training camp, but he's going to miss all of OTAs and pretty much probably the beginning of training camp from the predictions. But this injuries has been piling up since he's gotten to the league. Of course, a lot of people had that pretty much on his bubble when he got drafted coming out of Florida, his injury history. But it just gets worse and worse as his career progressed. He's never really had a one full healthy season. It's very unfortunate. But the chaos has started and the season hasn't even started yet. It's been a wild start to the Colts offseason. Training pretty much. Before the season starts, this news breaks out. Even with Michael Pittman Jr. limping in pretty much the OTAs before the training camp, he started limping. He got tangled up in one of the drills, so he got sidelined and he didn't return. And then there's news about Morocco Brown, the chief personal executive, not even being on the board anymore. So we don't know where Morocco went. But it's just been a lot going on as of the past 24 hours of today. Today is June 5th, 2025. Training camp is around the corner, probably a few weeks. He probably got about 6 weeks according to this date, until training camp, and then the season's right here, right around the corner. So there's looking like it's a potential chance of us getting the Daniel Jones experience earlier than what we expected. Of course, there was a lot of Colts fans on edge about the situation of Daniel Jones being signed to the roster. Of course, he's still a young talent. Has never really had a good roster surrounded by him. Of course, you can mention Saquon and the Giants of that nature. They did go to the playoffs under Daniel Jones, before, but coming into the Colts roster, the revamped roster, by the way, a new defensive scheme, a new defensive coordinator, got some key additions on the defense as well. A lot of returning faces on the offensive side, and a lot of changes on the offensive line for the Indianapolis Colts. So it's going to be a little funky situation going into next season. We'll see how it turns out. Like I said, it looks like we're going to be getting the Daniel Jones experience earlier than what we want. We're going to have to probably postpone the Anthony Richardson show because we don't know how long he'll be out with this shoulder. But he was still doing his walkthroughs. Free form. No contact, no footballs. But yes, he has been sidelined as of right now. So we do not know the extent of his return or when he may return. Shane Steichen wouldn't tell us anything. Of course, they didn't tell us anything on social media either. So we're all just on pins and needles. And all of this is in the middle of the Indiana Pacers playing in the NBA Finals, which is insane for the city of Indiana. You got two teams in Indiana on the bright sides of their franchises. You got the Fever, and then you have the Pacers, and then you have the Colts. The Holy Trinity is just, a debacle. First, of course, I got to give a rest in peace to Jim Irsay. He passed away a few weeks ago. So we got to give his a memory, rest in peace to him. Prayers to the family and everything like that. So it's going to be an interesting transition going into this season and into the future for the Indianapolis Colts and what it may hold. So we'll see what happens with the Colts and what they may do moving forward. We'll get some news on Anthony Richardson as we get closer to the season, and I'll be sure to let you guys know about that as well. But I got to keep you guys posted. I know I'm living under a rock, and most of you that are listening to me are doing as well. But appreciate all the support from all sides. still go Colts at the end of the day. The prediction is still at the ceiling. I still have high hopes for this team moving forward. And you know me, the motto is run the ball. So as long as you got Jonathan Taylor and you keep the ball out of the air, you're pretty much in good spirits. So we'll see how it goes moving forward. But you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section about Anthony Richardson. Look like his time may be coming to an end in Indianapolis moving forward. It's unfortunate timing for him. And then, let me know your thoughts about Daniel Jones. Do you think Michael Pittman Jr.'s contact injury is going to, sideline him moving forward as well? Or, what that may bring? But let me know your thoughts about the Colts moving into the season as well, your predictions and everything of that nature. The season's around the corner. You guys just got to stay patient. Enjoy the Pacers NBA Finals as well. Shout out to all the Pacers fans out there. But you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section. This is Culture Shock. It's good to be back. But when the season starts, I'm going to be hitting you guys with more content. So you have to subscribe and stay tuned as well. Like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate all the support. And I will see you guys when we get around to that point. Until next time, I'll see you guys. Have a good one.